ProWrestlingSheet.com.
All right, I'll get this going. Let's start with NXT TakeOver in your house, since that's what we're here to discuss. You being a longtime wrestling fan, what was your reaction to finding out that WWE was reviving the In Your House name under the NXT banner?
So happy that it was under the NXT banner. It was just like I was just saying on a different interview. It's when I was a kid, it was 4 pay-per-views, right? It was like these 3-month builds and stories, and I don't know, I just loved it. And then In Your House entered, and like I was like in the midst of all my fandom and stuff. So I think when I heard it, it was kind of one of those like, oh man, I hope they bring back the graphics and the set. And then fans made graphics, and I was like, oh, that's awesome. And then NXT did the same. I was like, oh, they get it. Yeah. I don't know what that means as far as the set goes. I'm fingers crossed I show up that day and it's just like the house thing is there. I don't know, but
you'd think with everything going on right now that they'd have to put the house there. You'd think you're not going to bring back the name without bringing the house.
Yeah, you kind of need it, right? And like, I don't know, are we going to give away a house too? I don't. I feel like all the old graphics and just all that bad that was just so good should come back.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like being a 90s kid, when I saw the graphic, my heart warmed up. I was just like, oh, that's awesome. Like, it's so, the color scheme, everything, it just like takes you back.
Right. Yeah. Very, very much so.
You know, with this being the 25th anniversary of In Your House, do you have any favorite memories from any of those events growing up?
Yeah. I mean, the Shawn and Mankind was just like, my mind was blown. I think so when I was a kid, I only watched WWF, as a child. So that was like such a hardcore type of match to me. Later you kind of figure out who Mankind is and all that, but it was just watching that was unreal. And I don't know, I honestly though, my best memory of In Your House is just the bad, and I don't mean bad matches. I mean, like the graphics and just how it was like, it was so bad it was good, and it was just like, it was so corny it was good. Like that's my favorite part. Like that's the most exciting, even the name of it. I think like when you're used to like WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, it's like, oh, In Your House, excuse me, like you're just, I don't know, something about it was just that. Like that's my favorite part of it is just that it makes me feel very. Did I lose you for a second? I'm sorry.
For a second. I heard you still.
But yeah, my favorite part is just that it definitely just brings back the inner fan. That's really hard as a performer, 16 years or whatever the heck it's been. It's hard sometimes to keep in touch with that. Something about In Your House really, really brings it out.
It's pretty cool, too, that you said that Shawn Michaels is someone that you kind of like, in your mind, has one of your favorite memories from In Your House. And now you're working with Shawn Michaels on the next In Your House when it gets brought back. Like, that's such a cool, crazy, like, full circle moment for your fandom.
Dude, I just got to do, I don't know, a month ago maybe or something, I got to watch Triple H and Shawn Michaels and then commentate it with Shawn.
Oh, man.
Like, what do we, like, you get that request and you're like, yeah? Because seriously, you don't have to ask. Like, of course I'm going to say yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of those. In NXT specifically, there's so many of those moments. There's something about NXT still feels like you feel like you're talking with everyone's in this it's a very team atmosphere, I guess is what I'm saying. It's like that college football feel. So when you have a Shawn Michaels as a producer or Triple H running the show, there's that intimidation factor, like, in a way goes away. Like, we're just on this team together. So it's created this crazy thing where, yeah, you just have a lot of those moments where you're like, is this real? Like, is this like, how the heck? I remember this time when Johnny and I forget what match it was, but a street fight or something. So maybe we were in Chicago and we got to the venue, I want to say either early that day or the night before. But I just remember me, Johnny, Michael Hayes, Hunter, and Shawn walking around the outskirts of the ring and building and being like, oh, what cool stuff could we do? And just, what? I was like, are you kidding me? I was like, and you're just spitballing ideas with Hunter and Shawn. And you're like, what the heck is going on? So there's so many of those moments. It's been very cool. It's been a very cool, you know, if anything, like those are the memories that you're gonna walk away with. Like, yeah, this was a good ride.
You know, because of that tight knit family that you guys have in NXT, are you hoping that what they did on Raw this week with having the NXT wrestlers in the crowd is done during In Your House as well, so you guys have some noise out there?
NXT wrestlers, no. PC students would be great. I don't know, like, and I've said before, I don't know that there's rights and wrongs to a lot of this stuff. It's all opinions. It's wrestling, you know. It's ice cream.
Of course.
There's a part of me that I don't think we need to have, because of our situation. We have at least 50 or 60 people in the Performance Center living in Orlando who aren't ready to be on television, you know, as a performer. They're just not. And they can't really do a whole lot right now with what's going on. I think it's awesome to have those people come out. It's almost like that Japanese young boy style. Like, oh, come to ringside, watch Kobashi have this match, feel it, feel the energy, feel it all. Awesome idea. I don't know that I like the idea of having NXT television superstars in the crowd.
Like established talent already that's on TV, you mean?
Yeah. I don't want to have people from Raw and SmackDown in the crowd while I'm wrestling. I don't know. And that's just, I don't know, maybe I'm young but still have an old school feel to me. I don't know, man. It's something about it doesn't, just because there's other options, you know. I'd love to have some PC people back there though, who are like, oh yeah, great experience for you, and it doesn't diminish you in the slightest. That feels good to me. So.
No, that definitely makes sense. Going back to In Your House a little bit, you've obviously become one of the flag bearers for NXT. So, you know, Karrion Kross is getting a big opportunity on the brand by having his first program be with you. Are you looking forward to testing his limits at In Your House and seeing if he can hang at the top in NXT?
Yes and no. He's big. He's very big. There's a lot of him that reminds me of AOP, and that didn't end so well for me. His music is unreal. His entrance is great. But there's a certain, I think I don't know. Something comes along with being the guy who becomes like the test for people. You know what I mean? That's kind of,
yeah.
I feel like that's the position I'm in this one, where it's like it's not to say it will happen like this, but you have the match and then people say, hey, how do you do? You know,
of course,
it feels
yeah.
a lot like that. It feels a lot like that. But man, is he big. He's big and strong too. He's really, like, you know, some people, it's like we say they're strong, and he's strong. Like
he looks like it too. When you guys were face to face last week, it was like you definitely could see. You're like, man, he is a big dude.
Big. Yeah. Like there's a moment, and if you watch the promo back, because I don't know exactly the wording I chose, but I wanted to say, like, I wanted to come out here and look you eye to eye, but I think I just said I won't come out here and look you in the eyes, because I was like, I'm not eye to eye with you. I'm like eye to chest or eye to chin. Like, you don't want to go into all that, you know. So like that's the thought process I have while I'm speaking. I'm like, what the hell is going on up there? Definitely knows if it's raining before I do.
Yeah, no, definitely. You know, out of everyone in WWE, you're one of the few now who's taken part in a cinematic match of sorts with your one final beat match between you and Gargano. What did you think of how it came out?
It's ice cream, man. It's. I think what hurt me the most with it, to be fair, was when we did it. It felt. It's every match I've ever had. If I have a match and it instantly feels like, wow, that was special. It never lives up to it when I watch it back. Like that's all of them. Even New Orleans in a weird way. It always, if it feels awesome, then you don't want to watch it back. If out there you're like, that didn't go well, you almost want to watch it back, because then you're like, oh, it wasn't as bad as I thought. The cinematic thing for me, I think what it was is, if I felt numb to a lot of it, because you don't know I don't know exactly what the heck this is going to cut together like. But the thing that stunk is, like, we filmed it so early, and then I saw the what was it, Firehouse thing, or
the Firefly Funhouse match and the Boneyard
Firefly
match,
Funhouse, and then the Taker match, and the Taker match got insane feedback and stuff, and I was like, oh, the second people see ours, it's gonna it's like the magic already went in a weird way. You know, you almost want to be first in a sense.
Yep.
So that was the part that actually bugged me the most. And I was like, damn it, I wish somehow we aired first, because we filmed first, but I wish we aired just because it's like anything, man. It's the wrestling fan. It's so hard. It's like, oh, cinematic's the best. Oh, too much cinematic is terrible. And you're like,
Yep.
there's been 4 of them. What do you mean?
No, totally. It was like everyone was like, cinematic is the greatest thing from the Boneyard match. And then the Firefly Funhouse was like, okay, this is a little too far. And then you're like, well, wait, we still have one more though. Like, wait a second. Yeah, so I can imagine that has to be hard for you because you can't go back at all. It's
extremely hard. You know, it's just like, that false finish was the best ever. Oh, you kicked out of that? It's like, what? Come, just relax. You just, like, it still hurt. Shut up. That's part of the game now, specifically wrestling in this time period. It's so hard. Like, we were talking the other day about like Steve's run, which was 2 years or so on top, you know, which really is not, it's like a flash in the pan. But I was like, I wonder if that would have worked now, like with Twitter and social and stuff. Like, what's he gonna tweet? Like,
well, I always wonder that too, because sometimes there's those, you watch some of those old Raws and Stone Cold will be in like 15 backstage segments and you're like, man, people would be so mad if that was happening now. They'd be like, oh, he's just shoving them down our throat. And you're like, wait, no, that was awesome.
3 weeks. Yeah, for 3 weeks. The Rock's catchphrases would be so cool, and then you'd be like, same old stuff, dude. And you're like, so it's one of those things. I think on my side as the performer, like, you have to be really good at just shutting it off, you know. And I've luckily become fairly good at it, you know, where I'm able to just like kind of go just do my business and shut off. You get a gist of if they liked it or not from that live feedback, and then you kind of know at that point.
Yep, that makes sense. You know, I was actually going to bring that up because I feel like, you know, with the Undertaker doing his Last Ride series, we're almost seeing like the end of the last person who really like stuck with kayfabe this whole time, who just never let it go. But, you know, you're someone who I feel like you use social media largely in kayfabe as well. Like, you stay in character for the most part. You try as much as possible to adhere to the Ciampa that we see on TV when you're doing certain stuff. Is that hard for you to do? I mean, do you think that people should be kind of focused more on their character than getting over their personal life on social media?
It's just like everything. I don't know that there's rights and wrongs. You know, I know that when I got injured the first time, I had a lot of time on my hands to say, like you said, I turned on Johnny, I get injured, I go away. So I knew, well, the first thing I'll do is just go away, because, you know, not often that you get to be missed in wrestling. So I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this, go away and do my stuff. But then, you know, when you're away, you get to really kind of look back. It's like watching a television show and be like, what character are they missing here? And for me, I got to look at it all, like the show, the social, all of it. And what's no one doing, you know? Because like, there's just so many people who are just ahead of the curve at all times, you know, like, and you see them catch fire, like even like Colt Cabana in a podcast or something. You're like, damn, I could have thought of something like that, you know? So for me, that's what a lot of this stuff was in the beginning with the kayfabe. I was like, okay, well, nobody's just staying in character. Like, everybody, literally everybody wants you to know they're a nice person. And I was like, okay, well, I'll just commit to the character. And I watched NXT and said, oh, no one's a bad guy. I love being a bad guy, like an actual bad guy. I really enjoy the good guy, bad guy dynamic, the heel face, the cheers and boos. So like, that was all so easy for me. Well, the only time it became hard, honestly, is after the neck injury, and it was kind of taken out of my hands where the curtain was pulled back, because it was just working so well for a better part of a year and a half, 2 years. And once that curtain was pulled back, and like, we kind of gave real life, we gave, oh, he has a kid, oh, he's this, that, whatever, oh, the neck injury. Then it becomes like, okay, well, I can't just instantly pull the curtain again. Like, I would have been, shame on me if I would have come out the curtain, you know, on my return in October and been like, oh, I'm a bad guy and I hate the world. Like, it wouldn't have worked. People wouldn't have bought. Like, they bought into me because they believed I was real and true. So I just knew, okay, I got to come back and just bide my time. And that's kind of what I feel like that's what I'm doing. I'm like, I'm like in the water, and I'm just kind of doing the puppy dog paddle and just like, all right, I know eventually I'm gonna see a corner here where I'm gonna be like, all right, this is where I feel like Randy does it all the time. Where
100%.
watching him, you're like, oh, he's waiting in the water, and then this Edge thing happens. You're like, Randy's the best heel I've ever seen. It's like, you know, he's the same. Like he always can do that. Like he's just. It's like anything though, right? It's like you can only have a title run until you don't.
Yep.
You can only be the main event until you're not. Like like Roman can't be the main event of 20 straight WrestleManias. You got to pick and choose your moments. So I feel like right now, and it's not that I'm dipping and I'm not seeing, I still got to do cool stuff with Adam and Johnny, and now I'm doing this thing with Karrion Kross. But I know that the best version of me is the version we got to see in 2018. And I don't know if Karrion Kross somehow gets me back to that or what, but that's definitely what, like I want to do it just as bad as I think people want to see me do it. So it's just a matter of waiting and biding my time, and then social media will probably go that way again.
But that is a perfect comparison, the Randy Orton thing. Absolutely. Because that is such a good comparison, because he's so good at doing that. He's so good at like still being present, but waiting till the right time to like really bust it out and just like turn it all the way up. And you're like, oh, he's the worst.
Like he can't come out one day and just attack, I'm trying to think of like just a random baby face, but he just can't attack any random person and just take like a screwdriver or pliers out or something. He can't, like you would kind of shun away. You'd be like, oh, I don't buy it. It doesn't feel real and organic and all that. But if he does it at the right moment and the RKO is Beth, and there's a reason, you're like, oh my God, this is the best. So.
Oh, totally. With Edge being back, I know you guys have like, a relationship just from your friendliness over your, different injuries.
The brotherhood of the neck, man.
The brotherhood of the neck, and he's named you and other NXT wrestlers as people he'd love to possibly step in the ring with now that he's back in WWE, but I know that you have said in the past that you're not willing to move to Raw or SmackDown permanently. Does the allure of that match, though, sway your opinion in that regard at all?
I think it's just a timing thing for me. Now I'm, I think a year and 2 months removed from the surgery. I feel great. If I feel great after 2 years and after 3 years, then it becomes a different conversation. I think going through it and going through the process and just listening to my doctors, the idea of saying, oh yeah, you're going to do 200 dates a year. No, like I just, like, it's not like, I just don't want, like, I can't, I can't do it and do it for 5 to 10 years. Maybe I can do it for a year. So it's all situational to me. It's like, if my body continues to recuperate and do really well, like knock on wood, the neck's doing great. If it's doing great in 3, 4, 5 years, if I'm able to build up enough equity where I can have a reduced schedule that I can handle, sure. Like nothing's, it's like that never say never thing, right? I would never write anything off the table, but my goal is to build my legacy in NXT and with my legacy to also build what NXT is. Like I love that when I got to NXT, it was a couple takeovers and now there's more, and then it was on the network and now it's USA, and like I'm just a part of this thing that's growing, and it just means a lot to me. And the idea of us pulling off in some sort of like arena show or some sort of stadium show, and we get 20,000, 40,000, 70,000, like that, I would hate to miss all of that because I said, oh, I want to go have this dream match one-off thing. I don't know. I feel like 20 years from now, if I can look back to that 15-year NXT career where like I just watched it build, it just means more to me. It means a lot to me to have that be something that like, yeah, like that was my stamp. Like I've heard a lot of people on Twitter throw out like the gatekeeper thing. And it's like, yeah, it's not about the gatekeeper. It's just, it's a passion project of mine almost, where it's like,
totally,
I'm watching this thing grow. Like it feels like it's like a baby of mine. Like it's Hunter's baby. I get that, but I feel very much a part of it. I don't know that I would feel that way somewhere else. And I don't know that my body could take on the dates and the schedule. So I never say never. And there's also no saying, heck, I did Survivor Series. There's no saying you don't go do this thing and come back. So who knows?
And who knows? NXT had a match at WrestleMania this year, so
I'll also say this: I've invited Edge to NXT numerous times. So.
Oh, all right. Well, I'll put that out there.
I mean, shoot. Maybe not right now, but when we have fans again, that music hits, I think they're going to be very excited.
All right. Well, fingers crossed for that. I mean, Beth is already there, so, it only makes sense.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it very much. Have a good day.
Thanks, man. You too.
ProWrestlingSheet.com